Hey there, and welcome to Jedbanger's Ball. I'm your host, Jed Mayhew. This is our first episode, so I'm just going to quickly run down what the show is about for those that are listening to it here for the first time, and then we'll get on to our guests. But basically, the idea behind this show is to talk about music, but not so much the art of it, more sort of the nuts and bolts of it. So we're going to have all sorts of different people on. You know, we're going to have publicists, photographers, writers, bloggers, people that do music licensing, a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, not just, people that play in bands. But we're not really here to have a debate on art versus commerce or anything like that. It's really just to get to know people and to see how and why they do the things they do and how they survive doing it. So for our inaugural episode, I couldn't think of anyone better that represents that more than Lance Barresi and Liz Tooley, who I've been friends with since they moved here to LA. We play music together and go to shows and DJ gigs and shit like that. But most importantly, they own and operate Permanent Records here in Los Angeles and also the flagship store in Chicago. And the thing about Permanent is it's much more than just a record store. They have live performances there. They also put out records by bands that they're fans of. It's also a gathering place for a lot of local musicians. It's where we go and buy our records that we'll, maybe then use as influences later or go back and talk to them about it. People trade stuff in and out of there all the time. It's just a hangout spot. So check it out. It's over in Highland Park if you get the chance. So without talking too much more about the show, let's talk to Lance and Liz and see who they are and what they do. So, first off, I guess I first met you guys when you moved here, like right after you guys moved here, which was, 4 years ago? A
little over 3 years ago. 2011, sometime in, the spring of 2011.
Yeah, and that was at the shop on Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Eagle Rock. We were there for quite a few years, and we got to know you pretty well during that time.
Yes.
A little too well.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think someone told me, I don't remember who it was, told me about you guys coming from Chicago and opening up the store. And
Did they tell you we were carpetbaggers that were coming to Rich Kid Carpetbaggers?
That's one of our first Yelp reviews.
Yeah.
Put that
Rich Kid Carpetbaggers come down from Illinois to take over Los Angeles.
It's like the second gold rush.
Yeah.
But of used records.
Yeah.
And who the fuck uses carpetbaggers in there?
Who uses the word carpetbaggers that knows how to use a computer?
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
You should be 90 years old and fucking arthritic so you can't type out that shit. I don't know. Maybe he had a voice box.
But I remember I came in there. Someone told me to go in and introduce myself to you, I think is what it was. And then so I came in the store and it's rad. And then we just kind of became friends and started playing music and playing shows and stuff like that. But what I was wondering is where are you guys from originally? Did you guys grow up in the same?
Originally?
Yeah. Well, are you guys from the same part of the country originally?
We are. Yeah, we're both from Missouri. I'm from the South County, the suburbs of St. Louis.
So he's from he's from there.
What is that?
What is that?
I'm from
no one has ever said that about South County before. Well-to-do.
I'm
from the Soggy Bottoms, man. I'm from shit. Okay, so I was born in Arkansas originally, and I was there 6 years, in
Soggy Bottoms
trailer parks, and then I graduated to the trailer parks of Southwest Missouri. So Joplin, Missouri is where I hung my hat for the longest amount of time. But
whoa, is that a drone up there?
Yeah, there's a drone in here. That's not the one that landed on the
Did it land there? Because
No.
I was going to ask you. That'd be a good trick.
I heard the guy was drunk just flying.
Yeah, no, that
to...
was his excuse, which is amazing. He's like, I'm going to go ahead and wrap myself out. But, I was drunk. I'm really sorry, man.
He was trying to impress a girl with his drone and
know.
crashed into the White House lawn.
Yeah, and he fucking works there. Could it be anybody that doesn't? Now he's so fired. He's just fired.
That
Anyways,
sucks.
we digress.
So Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah.
And then...
in St. Louis. So let's see. I meet Lance when I'm 24. Lance is 20. We both drive 2 hours to get to the show by this band called The Anniversary.
Oh, yeah, I remember those
You've
guys.
probably heard of.
Were they on Lookout Records?
Yeah, I have
Might
no
as well
idea.
been.
Yeah.
I think like Vagrant or
I
something.
had no idea who they were, but my roommate did, and she had 2 tickets, and she was going to meet me there, but she's having an epic fight with her boyfriend. So I was driving up 2 hours to Kansas City to meet my friend Jim, who was flying in from somewhere, was exceptionally late, and Lance drove 2 hours west to get there from Columbia, Missouri, where he was.
That's where I went to college.
Yeah, he was going to college. I was not going to college. Anyways.
You were going to the check cashing place.
Yeah, I was. Oh, I totally was, man. Just to get gas money to get to the show. So,
School of Hard Knocks.
yeah. So I get there, my friend's like exceptionally late. I'm just like, man, this sucks so hard, and I don't know any of these bands. Like, what was the other band that was playing that we found out?
I don't
Like-
know. Some Kansas City band that I can't remember the name of, but we can tell.
We'll get
rest
back
of
to that in a
later.
minute because there's a guy we know that works at the Black Boar that was at that show, that was in a band that
in
played that
band,
show,
which is really
which is
weird.
crazy because the Black Boar is in Eagle Rock here in Los Angeles. So.
Right.
Anyways, we both drove the 2 hours to get to the show. Lance gets stood up by I don't know who because he won't say. He's like, "Oh, it's a lady friend. She's just a friend, whatever." And then
She
like,
was just a friend.
yeah,
There's
you
nothing
say
to that
she's
story
just a
at
friend, and you say anyway. So I'm sitting at a table by myself in the balcony. Lance is sitting at a table by himself in the balcony. We're fucking losers. So I was like, I'm gonna go talk to that guy sitting by himself. This just seems
You
stupid.
never went to a show alone before that?
Hell
I
no.
went to
Who
shows
does
alone
that?
all the
That's so
fucking
sad.
time,
Even
man.
more proof that
Nobody
you're a
wanted to
fucking
go to
loser.
anything that I wanted to go to, so I always had to go by myself.
I've never been to.
I didn't think it was that
like,
weird, but
back
also
then.
I always scoped the room for hot chicks too, and
Well, ding, ding, ding. Anyway, so
and or somebody old enough to buy me a beer legally because I
That's the
only
real
had a
story.
fake
That's
ID
the
at
fucking
that
real
time.
story.
I was
So
20 years old.
he's there. He's 20. I'm 24. My friend Jim is almost there, and his ticket's waiting at the door. Blah blah blah. Anyway, so I don't get up and talk to this guy because I was like, and he looks a little bit young, and also I'm like, I don't want him to think I'm gonna fuck him if I go talk to him. So I'm just gonna sit here. So then he gets up and starts coming around the balcony, and I think he's going to go out the exit, and then he comes around to my table, and he's like, "Hey, this is really weird, but like, I got stood up by a friend, and you're sitting by yourself. Is it cool if I sit with you?" And I was like, "Oh my god, I was going to ask you the same thing." So that's how we met. Then my friend Jim shows up. We got blasted and hung out together at that show. Then I was like, "Jim, this is my old friend Lance. He's really cool. You should let him stay at your house." And he's like, "Oh yeah, any friend of yours, friend of mine." So then me and Lance and him go bar hopping, and Lance has the worst fake ID anybody's ever had. It's like this 40-year-old dude with male pattern baldness and a full beard, and his name is Cliff Head. So Jim's like, "I don't know, dude. I don't know if I can get you into many places with this." But he's like, "Let's go to some of my stomping grounds and we'll get you guys drunk." So
Cliff Head.
yeah,
Cliff Head.
so Liz Tooley, hung out with Cliff Head and my friend Jim, and we went around and bar hopped. And
We got
then,
laughed away from the front door
Yeah.
a couple of different places before we finally went somewhere that they didn't even check my ID.
Yeah, no one cared at that point. It was a place where you almost get hit with darts like constantly because people are so drunk, and the dartboard's like right by the front door.
Who was playing in there? I feel like it was. This is dating us, and also the territory.
There was a
it was like
band?
guys from the band Ultimate Fake Book playing at that venue.
I was too drunk to remember there was a band other than.
They were doing like an acoustic set or something. It
Anyways,
was
we're getting really
absolutely
far into
terrible.
the story. We get really, really blasted. Jim passes out on the couch. Lance and I end upstairs like talking,
Yeah.
quote unquote. And
Sure.
so, and then
I've
I
had
was,
that conversation before.
I was like, "You're so cute. I'm gonna kiss your face off." And then he's like, "Why don't you do it then?" So then that happens.
One thing
Yeah.
Sure.
led to another.
And then morning comes and you're so fucking sick and fucked up, and you have like a stranger laying next to you. You're like, "Oh my god, this is the worst thing in the world." Then I'm like, and he's 20 years old. This is weird. And then we drive him to his car. Lance drives this seafoam green Geo Tracker, which
1994.
I had
Yeah.
I had a
What?
91 Geostorm.
But this
How did
was
you
like-
even fit in a storm.
I don't know.
what is it with dudes and Geos? I don't know. I was
They're
like,
cheap. What do you mean?
is that the shaggin' wagon? Like if
No.
you get one of those, do
Absolutely.
you
It's
get
the
like?
opposite of the
Because for me,
Shaggin'
I
wagon.
don't give a shit about cars, but dropping this guy off this seafoam green thing with like a pink squiggly and some
Yeah.
fucking speckledy
There were decals and shit.
decals and fucking skankin' pickle stickers
It
and
was
mustard
free, dude.
plug. Like,
Oh yeah,
I was
Mustard
like,
Plug. Yeah, one of Wisconsin's best ska bands.
Yeah,
I think
finest
Wisconsin.
premier ska bands.
Yeah,
I think
they're
so.
great.
So that's our
played in
meeting. That's our
Missouri a
meeting
lot.
story. I didn't think we'd talk again, but we exchanged emails, and then Lance just like emailed the fuck out of me and was really cool. And I don't know.
So how do you guys get from that to deciding we're going to move to Chicago
yeah.
and we're going to open up
Oh,
a
we
record
forgot.
store?
We forgot that this whole thing isn't about our relationship.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean it's
Let's
interesting.
get the relationship talk.
It's not. It's
Liz
not.
loves telling
It's
that
not about
story.
your relationship at all.
No.
But it is interesting. But what it is about you guys owning
Right.
a record store, a record label, having a band,
Okay.
and surviving on
Yeah.
that.
And living with this fucker like 24 hours a day. We're just like together all the time.
Yeah, that's that
It's like,
too.
how do you successfully do that?
Exactly.
I
So
don't
how
know,
do we?
I don't know if we successfully do it, but we do it.
Okay.
So
So how do we get to Chicago?
All right, so we met in Kansas City. Shortly after that, I was living in Columbia, Missouri. And
I was working a record store job already since I was 17 at this small little shitty place called the Book Barn, where they had like records and books, and like I was the seller of Pokemon cards. So I can tell you all about Charizard, Blastoise, all stupid shit, and I helped with comic books, but they sold records mostly. So
Liz is going to give you like the entirety of her resume before
Yeah.
we're done here. So we lived together in Columbia, and as soon as Liz moved to Columbia, she got a job at another store that sold records, not exactly a record store.
it was
but
called
the
Slackers
closest thing-
CDs and Games. Oh, wait, should I say that? Maybe I shouldn't because it might be
You already
dissing them
said
too
it.
hard. God damn it, they're not gonna listen.
Yeah,
to this
we're
anyways.
recording this like a computer. There's no way to edit it out.
Yeah.
So Liz started working there, and I was still in school and working at a restaurant or whatever. But right around that time, we started our first band together too, and it was really fucking terrible. And
Lance wanted to sound like Fugazi
well,
or
first we
Drive
sounded-
Like Jehu.
First, we sounded like White Stripes.
No, don't even say that.
We
It's not
did.
even true because I fucking know. Just because I
At
have
first?
a pussy doesn't mean I'm fucking Meg White.
That's what we were doing. It was like really stripped down, like raw, garagey punk stuff.
okay.
And then it got more nuanced.
Just say
when
it
we
was
figured
garagey.
out how to
Just
play
say that.
our instruments.
Because we were not the
What was the
White
name of the band?
Tiny Pants.
Tiny Pants.
And you know why it was called Tiny Pants?
No.
Because Lance got up on one day and put on a pair of my pants on accident and could wear them. And
I thought
so-
it was because the guy, the bouncer at Eastside Tavern, was called Big Pants, and he and I were bros, so everybody just called me
That's
Tiny
just what
Pants.
you told people when they asked you why.
I
So-
don't remember.
But it was because he could
I
officially
could
wear my pants at that
probably
point.
have
He
at
was,
that point fit into Liz's pants.
he was a
I got
he was
into
a
her
sexy,
pants
skinny little
one way or
man.
another.
Okay,
Anyway.
so Tiny Pants is rocking out.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, just killing it, dude.
No, we
No,
were not
we were
killing it.
fucking
We were like
terrible.
the saddest band in Colombia.
bad.
Like Cave is from Colombia, Warhammer, all these amazing bands bubbled up out of the scene. Mahjong, like who else was just like a ton of really amazing bands, and they
I
were
remember
like,
a band called Sin City Disciples that I used
Yeah.
to like a lot.
there's
Are
so
they
much.
from Columbia?
No, they're from Columbus, Missouri.
Oh yeah,
That's
that's
different.
Columbus,
Oh.
Ohio.
Oh, no. Well, they're from Columbia, Missouri.
Columbia,
yeah.
probably.
They're like, it's like Lawrence, Columbia,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the Micronauts and the Embarrassment and all these bands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's earlier though, but
Yeah. We
but it
were
was
there
it was a
from, like,
cool little
2002
college
to-
town. I mean, the time we were there were all these kids that were probably like 5 or 6 years younger than us, just like creating this amazing music scene. And I'm already 4 years older than Lance, and Lance is 4 years older than them. So we're just like coming into this really creative group of kids who are, you know, going to school and making amazing music. And a lot of them were in other projects and shit. So our band is like totally, you know, what is that word? Inconsequential?
Yes.
Sure.
Our band was totally inconsequential in that
That's-
scene.
That's,
We played at a ice cream shop. We played at a vintage shop. All of our shows consisted of playing.
Hey,
at someone's
opened
house
for
party.
Pelican one time, Liz.
Somehow
Remember
we accidentally opened for Pelican, which is like the talk of the town at the time. And so many people being like, "How'd you get on that show? Can I get on that show instead of you?" Like straight up saying that to us. So that was like probably the most embarrassing thing in the world was us opening for Pelican.
that? So, shortly after I graduated from college, I started working at a different location of the same record store, quote unquote record store that Liz was working for, in a neighboring community, and we did that for a year or two or something, and we kept trying to push the owner, or like suggest that the owner focus more on the vinyl side of things, because we were seeing like the CD market totally crash.
Sure. What year was this?
2004
Right.
is when I graduated college.
Yeah. And we were just like, if you even just made like they didn't even have vinyl at the time. Where like, if you could just make a small section of vinyl. I mean, I guess they had some dollar records in a crappy bin, but it was mostly CDs and games and DVDs and shit. So we're like, okay, there's some great distributors that do like all-in-one stuff. We can do like a small place that has like affordable prices, and just let us build a vinyl section for you. And they're like, oh, I don't know, blah, blah. So they'd be like, okay, you get $200 this month. So then we would get to buy like 20 records or something. And so then all the 20 records would sell out, and they're like, okay, you get $250 next month. And it was just like
Just the budget was ridiculous.
pulling teeth. And if you know that compared to the money they're making off these fucking Xbox games at the height of like Xbox and PlayStation, and those get sold back in, and so they don't understand vinyl at all. They don't care. It's not making them $1 million. So
at that time, we decided we were going to just start scouting out different cities, because we knew we couldn't just start up a record store there. First of all, there was a really killer store there called A-Pop that we were friends with the owners of, so we never would ever dream of like opening up and competing with them. And secondly, we just didn't want to die in Columbia, Missouri.
yeah, we wanted to get the fuck out of Missouri, but I didn't know where we would end up. So we had both been working. I was like 4.5 years at that place. I was a manager after like a year. Lance was like 2 or 3.5 years at his place, had been a manager like almost since he got there. So we knew how to do everything, and or we thought we did. And so as far as like payroll and all that kind of stuff, the micromanaging and those kind of things, we knew a lot of vendors. So we just started taking vacations together to different parts of the country and trying to figure out where, what our city would be like, what would fit us the best for the kind of stuff that we wanted to sell, and like what music scenes were going on at the time. So we traveled, I think, for 2 years doing that, just trying to figure out where we should end up.
A weekend trip like every 3 months or
Yeah, but we went to like Baltimore, Boston, where else?
all up and down the
East Coast for some reason we hit up really hard. I don't know why we never thought about the West Coast. I thought
Well,
maybe
we came to LA and we stayed in like Venice or whatever, which was rad, but we were like, there's no way you could ever have a store here. Like the store that was there in Venice had been taken over by like a surf shop, and we stopped in there, and we were like, what happened with that record store? And they were like, oh, it went under, like nobody cared at all.
Right.
You know, like nobody
And I mean,
bought
maybe
records on
now
the
I
West
think
Side.
there might be some like depot record spot over there for somebody, but like at the time we were checking it out, there was nothing.
And at that time too, Amoeba had just opened up here, and all anybody had to talk about was gloom and doom. Like Amoeba basically killed off all the indie stores, blah 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 blah, and that, you know, not only was it a terrible time in general, but this would be the worst place to do it. You know.
Well, I definitely want to get into the Amoeba discussion here at some point, just to sort of parallel you guys and them, and kind of talk about the difference of that. But what made Chicago seem like the spot, and what was it like when you guys first got there as far as opening up the store?
I would
Chicago
say
felt right in a lot of ways, because, well, firstly
is that a word?
Firstly is definitely a word.
Okay, sorry.
You're derailing the whole show.
Just start from there.
Firstly, it was a lot closer to home and felt like less of a gigantic leap than any place else that we could have gone.
Sure, it's not New York, but it's huge, and there's a ton of stuff going on.
Totally.
They have a lot of record stores there, though.
Yeah, but the way the stores were there at that time, there was nothing like what we wanted to do. Like, Reckless had existed there forever, basically, and there were, at that time, 2 locations. But, like, that store, I don't want to, like, it just wasn't what we wanted to do.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And the other stores that existed at that time were like one-man operations where it was literally like a dude and a bunch of used records.
In
and
a
that was it.
neighborhood far away from everything else. So all the other record stores there are really far out in like kind of almost suburban neighborhoods.
And where's the Chicago store located?
It's just south of Wicker Park in a neighborhood called the Ukrainian Village.
Right. Okay.
And so that was like a good spot for us. We checked out Logan Square, which is where Pitchfork first started. They had a space in this building that we looked at, but that was not quite there yet. Now it's like massively awesome. There's so much stuff going on there, but we couldn't have succeeded if we'd been there like 8 years ago. It wouldn't have worked, I don't think. So we chose Ukrainian Village because we had a lot of friends living there, really good access to public transportation, which is really important in Chicago. I don't know. We just found a space that was easy, and it just seemed like the music scene there was so good at the time, and it just fit everything that we were into. And
the history of it and like the established labels, like it felt right for a lot of different reasons, and the fact that there were already so many independent labels set up there that we could buy directly from. There were a couple of different significant distributors that were there.
Drag City, you have Thrill Jockey,
Touch
right?
and Go.
At the time,
Touch
Touch
and
and
Go.
Go was still going strong.
And the distributors.
Numero
like,
Group was just coming up right around that
Yeah.
time. So, you know, and then also right around that time, like Hozak was just getting kicked off.
They were right around the same time as us. So.
Yeah.
I remember them when it was, I think it was just a zine at the time.
Yeah,
Horizontal Action. And it was
Yeah.
just photos of like
They got
naked
kicked.
girls in bands. And
That got kicked out of Reckless because it got too raunchy. They
Yeah,
would
it got
carry
pretty
it at
raunchy.
first, and they're like, nope, not carrying that year.
We embraced the hell out of that.
Hence
about
the name
immediately.
Horizontal Action. I mean,
Yeah. So that's why we went with Chicago. For no other reason, because we didn't really know anyone there. At that point, we didn't know anyone anywhere else other than Missouri. So everywhere we went, we were going to be noobs, you know.
And what was the reception when you got there?
It was
Well,
great.
it was crazy at first because we had started to sign a lease on one space, and that fell through because we weren't Ukrainian. Those guys got to look at us, and they're like, no, not you, after we had worked with a company to try to do it. So then we had to struggle to find another space. So we get that space, and we're stoked. And, like, it just so happens that the weekend we're opening is the weekend of, like, the 25th Touch and Go anniversary. So then Lance and I just made flyers that were like, do you want to come to, like, a kick-ass record store? We got the shop for you. Or, I don't know what it said. I can't really remember, but we just stood outside of that festival, and like that is like the exact customer we would want to come to the shop, is like that group of like 5,000 people. And so that's how the shop got going.
I mean,
got
my
started.
friends that went to that show are the most record collectory friends that I have.
It's
you
like
know?
absolutely perfect that
Because they're like,
happened.
fucking Killdozer's playing.
Yeah. And I'm like,
exactly.
we're like, come in 3 days, we'll be open. And it was like, coming in 3 days. The flyer was like super specific where it was, close to where a lot of those people were already living. And they're like, oh, rad. It's like giving someone a flyer and they're excited, which never happens in life. So.
Because at that time, too, all the indie stores in Chicago were going under, like left and right. Tower, like the big box chains were all going under as well. Like Virgin and Tower were all like closing the same year we were opening, which was great for publicity for us because all the local
Like
news
television stations, newspapers, all these people came to us to be like, why on earth would you do this in the midst of the rise of the MP3? Like they were just, they were so clueless about music in general, but they were like,
Right, because they don't understand the difference between
yeah.
like a new top 40 CD and some rare psych record that you may have found for $5 that you can then sell for $50.
yeah, they were so clueless. And they're like, who even has these records,
Sure.
these vinyls? So it was like, people were so like overwhelmed by it, at least the media was. And they wrote so many stories. Like we made front pages of like Chicago Tribune and like, what else? The Reader did a story, I think. And then we were on television like a crap ton. And we were just like these kids being like, why us? Like we're just getting started. But hey.
So that helped us get like a kickstart. And then basically what we did was, and I think this was more, we're not like business people, you know, like I went to school for business, but only because that degree was the degree to get me out of college as fast as you possibly can.
Sure.
And I'm a college dropout, hardcore. I made it.
I never went to college.
Yeah, I made it like 2 years, I think, if that counts. I don't know. I was stoned half the
doesn't
time,
count,
and
no.
like I dropped out of high school. I'm just the ultimate loser.
Yeah.
But you know,
Right.
then you just peddle your records, and
Yeah.
it's all good.
So all our business strategy, quote unquote business strategy, going into opening that store was just to like take. Okay, so we had like 6 months or a year or something after we decided to make the move. We just bought every record we could get our hands on that was $1, and bought out everybody at a garage sale that we went to or whatever.
But at
for,
that
like,
time, I will say you could get really great shit. Like it wasn't like it is now, where $1 record is a $15 or $20 record.
Sure. I mean,
You
it's
could go
the
to
internet. It's
Yeah.
like anything else. I mean, in
once eBay and all that shit started
in the
rolling,
early
now it's
2000s, I was like buying old cars out of like the Seattle Times classified ad section and then selling them on
you were flipping cars.
eBay. Yeah, I was like flipping cars, but in the same way of
Right.
like there used to be like classified ads, and like some older guy would put his like muscle car project in the paper that he didn't finish, and he's like, I'm not gonna figure out this eBay shit. Like I'll
Yeah.
just put it on here and I'll sell it for $8,000. Well, there's someone in Arizona that's willing to spend 20 on it. you
Yeah.
know? So it was the same thing.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, it's the same premise, same time period where people weren't really clued in on what was going on, and all that stuff was new to everybody. So you could go to a garage sale and get a box of like 50 records for like $8 to $10 if someone didn't know what they had. I mean,
And
I
we
don't
didn't know what we were doing.
I
either.
mean,
We
yeah,
were
I don't
just fucking
consider
buying
it
Black
trolling.
Sabbath
We were
and Led
just-
Zeppelin records and shit like that you could get. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's not like we were super savvy or anything. We liked what I would consider
Yeah.
somewhat
It's
decent
just like,
music.
I want to
It's
sell
just
that.
like
I'm going to buy that.
we owned all that shit on CD because that was the only way to get Funkadelic records back then. You know what I mean?
Right.
For a reasonable amount of money.
Sure.
And a reasonable amount of money for us at that time in our lives when we were spending $400 on our house for rent and still struggling and had to have a roommate was $1. If you want a record, you spend $1 fucking dollar and that's it. I mean, I was a broke ass college kid, you know, in Missouri.
So when the store gets going, like how long does it take before you guys feel like, oh, this is actually working? Like we can actually do this. This is
Well, it was
in hindsight, it never actually happened. But while it was going, you know, like when the day we opened, it felt like we were having a glorified garage sale. You know what I mean? It's
I mean,
like
people were
you just-
stoked. There were a lot of people there, like from the get go, and I thought I would go out and get a job, and Lance would literally man the store, and then I would just come in at night and help do some extraneous things because Lance had a little bit better of a head for. He has like a really amazing memory, so that's his like strong suit. So we're like, let's put you there. Let me go out and like waitress or whatever the fuck, and then. I don't know, things were doing so well and we were so busy that if one of us wasn't there, it could be uncomfortable to try to figure out like how to help people out. So
And always what's happened over the years since we decided to start doing this is that shit gets a little bit shaky. We say, oh no, like now's the time where one of us has to go out and look for another line of work. And then kind of magically, or maybe because of the amount of work that we've put into this thing, I don't know, it ends up working out okay, and then we're so busy that we don't have time to go get that other job.
Sure.
Like I almost when we moved out here, I almost went and got a job at Trader Joe's because I was like, well, I
remember
could
you
just
told me
run
this.
over there for
do you
a
remember
minute.
he was like,
You're like,
it's
I was gonna get health care.
It's
Yeah.
like 20 hours a week, man. That's all you. And he's like, and like sometimes they stop by and get a record. Somebody that works over there, and he'd be like, hey man, you guys hiring like night stalkers? Like, any of you need some stock in the shelves?
That's after we'd been in business for 6 years in Chicago.
And we were
Yeah.
gonna get married because of the Trader Joe's job, so that I could have insurance
Yeah,
too. There's
we had
this
it
whole
all figured
plot.
out,
Like
man.
we were gonna
Thank
figure it
goodness
out.
for Obamacare. Otherwise,
kidding.
I'd be working at TJ's.
And
at
I'd be
least
married to
part-time.
this piece of shit.
So ultimately, if you wanted to like get super real about it, for the first 6 years of us having our store in Chicago, like this is how bad of business people we are. We did what we loved, and we always just went for doing the stuff that we thought was the coolest and that like we could stand behind, and always sacrificed paying ourselves. So like for literally for 6 years in Chicago, I paid myself just enough to pay rent and like whatever, like expenses we had, and then Liz got no money.
Yeah.
Zero money.
$0.
For
But
6 years of
we
running
paid
a
the
business.
employees, which was cool, and having them there allowed us to have a regular,
So all
10
of
to 6 job.
our bills were paid, our like, whatever our rent was in Chicago and like whatever, our car and whatever. But like there was no extra money ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So that's how cool it is to
But
own
we
a
broke
record
even.
store.
Well, I want to talk about that though. What it takes though to actually to run a record store, because a lot of people think like, oh, you just order records from the distributors like a bookstore or anything else. But you get up at like
Yeah.
5 a.m.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes
and
earlier.
scour
Yeah.
like record shows, garage sales all over
Yeah.
Southern California. You guys go to Utrecht in Holland and go to the record fair there. You go to the WFMU fair in New York.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, Lance is like the Gollum of like record trolling. He just like
Just
lurks
because
around
we're watching
there.
the Lord of the Rings
Looking
series
for
right
his-
now doesn't mean you can make an
He's
analogy
looking-
to Gollum.
He's looking for
My
his
precious.
precious. They're all his
Oh,
precious.
Jesus.
So
What's
that's
like the
where he's
biggest
at.
score that you've had then, as far as if you're
You're
Gollum?
looking at
Well,
her.
I know. Besides Jesus Christ, besides
I
Liz.
wouldn't have said that. There's been so many records over the years that I can't think of one. There's guys that I talk to that are like, yeah, I bought this fucking $10,000 record for $1, and I'm just like, I'm not that lucky. The reason I have to get up and like hustle this hard is because
You're not that good at your job.
Nothing like that has ever fallen into my lap. I've found like hundreds of dollars worth of records for $1, but like not a 4-figure record or anything. The best things for people like us to do, and the things that are the most profitable, is when we can go get a good collection, and you almost always have to just pay fairly for those things.
Yeah, for us, the collections are where it's at. If you can get like a really awesome like krautrock collection or like minimal synth or something like that,
I wonder about that. Like
that as a whole is like where
Right.
it's at.
on a collection, do you normally? Lance
get
is
me
trying to get
another
another
beer,
beer.
Liz?
He's trying to get another beer out of the fridge. I'll talk to
Lunch.
Lance while you get it. We have these vintage Old Milwaukee beers here in the studio.
Yeah, cheers.
And I think they actually are vintage. I think they're expired, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
It's kind of skunky, dude.
But so that's a question I have is like, on a collection, do you offer like a dollar amount for the entire collection, or do you say like I'm gonna average it out that each record in this collection is worth $5? There's some that are worth 25. There's some that are worth 1. There's some that are worth 10, and then there's a few gems in there.
I mean, that's kind of how it is, but you don't often, like when you're buying a collection that big, you don't often have to like separate it into little stacks for people. You're just like, okay, you have about, 1,000 records that kick ass, and I'm going to pay you a really large sum for them. Sometimes you'll mention the sum per record or whatever, and then everything else I'm going to pay you this for. So that's.
I've done it every.
I mean, you can do it. Yeah, you can cherry pick sometimes, where you just take some of it. Some people want like the whole collection gone at once. So it just really depends on what type of seller it is and like how attached they are to their collection. I feel like that makes a big difference.
Is that so you guys are, you're here in LA. There's Amoeba, obviously, which is a huge record store, probably the biggest independent record store in the world, maybe. And they're able to sell stuff, it seems, relatively cheap.
Yeah.
And that's probably because of the quantity of items that they're moving. You guys have a much smaller store. I mean, how many records are in the store at once, would you say?
I don't know, somewhere around 10,000 or something, 10
Yeah.
or 15,000 maybe.
And if anybody's ever been to Amoeba, it's like a freaking Best Buy of like every record. I mean, so much shit, but it's like a lot of it's new inventory. So it's like there's some used stuff, but I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, if you go to Amoeba, it's like I feel like I can always find something if I go there, but I
Yeah,
have to
you'll-
dig for it.
Yeah, you
And
really,
whereas
really
if
gotta
you
dig.
guys, for permanent or whatever, if I have $30 to spend on a record, I'm gonna find something at your store that I've been looking for a long time,
And
I'm not gonna.
you can like come to the counter and ask one of us, and
Sure.
we can like walk you to it.
Well, yeah, of
I
course.
know that's crazy, but that's a thing that exists.
Well, that's true of any small business, though.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as like the curation of it, seems like a really important part. Like you guys aren't just like throwing out any record because you only have a limited amount of space that you can use.
For sure, yeah. It's really...
And that's been big for us since the get-go, I feel like.
Yeah, we've always tried to curate it as well as we possibly could, but we've, not always had as many opportunities to get as many great used records as we have, especially since we moved to LA. Things changed pretty drastically as far as that is concerned because our eyes were opened to the opportunities that exist, especially in a city like LA where it's warm year round and there's
no flooded
industry
basements
everywhere.
It's like so much music, so many people with records for sale, so many record fairs, so many places to travel all the time to get records. It just makes such a...
So there's more opportunity, which then opens your eyes to what's out there, which gets you more motivated to get out there more. And then you realize, like, wow, this is endless. There are literally millions of records that been stored in, storage lockers and basements and attics and whatever for decades that still haven't seen the light of day that will just slowly but surely make themselves available. And yeah.
So what was the impetus then to move to LA from Chicago and open up a second store?
Strictly weather.
Weather.
You guys are just sick of the weather in Chicago.
Yeah, fucking sick of it. Just
the winter there is just so brutal. It was like really demoralizing, and like the more of those winters you have to live through. If anybody from Chicago is listening right now, either they are completely sympathetic and saying like, "Oh man, I fucking know, man, this sucks,"
or they're like pussies.
Fucking yeah, exactly.
Can't deal with it. Just get the fuck out.
Yeah. So, we were there for 5 years, and I feel like the first couple winters weren't that bad, and then like the third one just hit us like a ton of bricks. It was just a really long gray one that got super cold.
50 snows that were over like 3 feet tall or more, blizzardish.
And it's just gray.
I cried once on the way home because it wouldn't stop snowing and winding in my face. I call it winding or sneeting, where it's snowing and sleeting at the same time. So I'm getting sneeted all over my face. And then I started crying, and then my teardrops were like freezing. I was like, fuck this.
I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
And when did you guys start the record label part of it too? Because you have a record label too, Permanent Records, releasing actual music as well.
That was pretty much right off the bat. I mean, it was like our first year, I think. But we had, it was friends from Columbia, Missouri, Warhammer 48K, and they had all started to move up to Chicago. A lot of friends from that scene, so it was cool having people there. But we kept bugging Cooper and being like, when are you going to put this record out? When are you going to put this on vinyl so we can carry it? And he's like, I don't know anybody who wants to do it. Why don't you just do it?
They had CD copies of it out, and they were like doing really well at the time. Like Corey from Touch and Go had expressed some interest. The guys from TP, I think, had included them on like a comp of like stoner rock stuff, and things were going really well. And we were just like, seriously, their first record came out on vinyl, and we were like, what's taking so long? Like, who wouldn't want to put this out,
And then how many releases have you guys put out on the label?
We'll be at 50 by the middle of this year, so we're at 40 something right now.
Yeah.
With some things in the works.
Which is, not too bad for 8 years of keeping it going. I mean, we're not like a Touch and Go, like a label like that who specifically only does music.
Well, it's amazing that you kept it going as long as you have, given that you aren't doing it specifically all the time, because it's like, it seems like it would be, most people would kind of get bored if it wasn't like a constant thing that they were doing,
Yeah, and it's such a time-consuming effort too.
Sure.
So it's like
it's literally a labor of love.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real money to be made there unless you're getting hooked up somehow with licensing deals and stuff, which like hasn't happened for us once.
We just are very unlucky folk. We'll just say that we are some of the most unlucky folk you will ever meet.
We've, I think we already talked about our past. We don't come from money. We've never won
We are
the
not
lottery.
carpetbaggers.
You guys have overcome your unluckiness through hard work and vigor.
I think
Bits
so.
and vigor.
And
Yeah.
I think it's just been the past couple of years that things have really started to turn where we're like, all right, we know what we're doing now. We finally get it.
We just started working even harder.
Yeah, but smarter too. Not doing all the side labor where we're like, okay, we should have an employee doing certain things and freeing up our time a bit to do like more important tasks that we can't entrust to other people. So.
And were you guys playing music this entire time too? Were you playing in bands?
Yeah, I'd say off and on. We had Savage Hyenas, which was a disaster. I don't know. What else were we doing?
Well, because
Yeah, when we left Columbia, we left Tiny Pants behind.
And
obviously.
Savage Hyena was Columbia too, forgive me. So,
And then when we moved to, we had a rehearsal space, and you know what happened is when we moved to Chicago, every Wednesday night at the store, we had an open jam.
So like the back of the shop had nothing in it yet because we were that broke that only like half the store was filled.
because you guys
have
do
any
in-stores now all the time.
Yeah,
Is that what sprouted that idea to do the in-stores?
Yeah, I mean we were kind of doing
We were
that
gonna
from the
do
beginning.
that anyway, yeah.
So we left that space open essentially just for bands to play there. But on Wednesday nights, we would invite certain customers or friends to come into the shop after work and like get stoned with us and get drunk and play music.
And you guys just had the Melvins recently.
Yeah.
What are some of the bigger bands that have played the in-stores?
I mean, we've had the Meat Puppets play. We've had, just bands that we love, the OCs, Ty.
Kid Conga. Who else?
I don't know, Tyvek, like anybody you can think of that
Well,
is
not
part of.
anybody you can think of.
Well, that's part of a scene that we really care about.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like almost everybody's rolled through Times New Viking, Purling Hiss, Kurt Vile. I don't know. We were in a good spot there, and we're in a good spot here. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like everything is like
Def.
someone's coming through.
And you guys just released a
Town.
record with your own band, Endless Bummer,
Yeah.
on In the Red Records.
Because we also play in a band together.
Now you guys also
here,
playing a
like,
band together here.
Yeah.
and run 2 stores and a label. So we're just kind of crazy like that.
And you're playing down the street from this where we're recording this right now at the El Rey. When
Yeah.
is that show?
April 24th.
April 24th with Fuzz,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Fuzz is such a
Totally.
great band.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played our first show with Fuzz at the Smell, actually.
This is going to be like monumental for us. I mean, I don't know. We've played a lot of shows with Fuzz, so it's nice. And we played with Ty a few times. And we play with you guys too, Zigzag. So it's just nice. Like being here in LA, I feel like we started taking, playing in a band a little more seriously and like starting to devote more time to like regular practice. Met Greg, who's amazing.
Yeah, we just conned somebody who's actually good at playing.
Playing with 2 shitty people. And that
us.
makes all the difference in the world when you got a guy who'll just put up with shit bags and like, shred. So, but that helped us out. And I feel like that's a lucky thing that happened for us.
That's pretty lucky.
Yeah, I feel lucky.
I would say we're lucky in a lot of little small ways, but we've never had that one big stroke of luck.
Yeah.
That's great.
We're rich in friends,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're
And
rich in
records, too.
We're rich in friends. We're rich in records. We're rich in cats.
You guys have a lot of cats.
We do have a lot of fun
A lot of
cats,
feral cats.
right? And I've got these
That's a whole
rashes.
nother
Let's
show.
just
I
not
don't-
even go
Yeah.
there.
This is not a
It's
cat show. The cat show comes on after this.
like, meow, meow, meow. Yeah.
So that's great. But thank you guys for coming in.
Yeah,
I really
of course.
appreciate it. This is the first show, so you guys are the inaugural guests, and I wouldn't want to have anyone else but you guys in.
Awesome. Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. So,
Jedbanger's Ball. You heard it. First show.
do you guys want to play a game real quick?
Sure.
It's called Band Names.
Oh,
Okay.
snap.
Speaking of bands, so
We've been trying to think of band names for.
well, this is perfect,
So
and I
that's
think
the
that
way.
you guys will be really good about this because you guys own a record store and you see a lot of different records all the time and see thousands and different band names every day.
Yeah.
Basically, what this game is I'm going to give you a cue card, and you're going to read the name of the band on it, and then we're gonna have to determine whether it's a real or a fake band.
Okay.
Okay.
No
Is
problem.
it real or is it fake?
That's basically what it is.
What
yeah.
do you call your game?
Band names.
Band names.
Band names.
Okay. Band names.
Here, Liz, you can read the first one.
Okay. Let me read it. George Clunatic and the Trauma Queens.
George Clunatic.
Oh, Clunatic.
No, Clunatic.
Lunatic.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right, off to a great
let me
start.
try that again. George Clunatic and the I can't do it. Take motherfucking 3.
Oh, man.
George Clunatic and the Trauma Queens.
Exactly. Okay, is that a real band or is that a fake band?
That definitely shouldn't be real, whether
sounds
it is
like-
or not. That's the worst band name I've ever
But it
heard.
sounds like it could be like at like a gay bar. It sounds
Yeah, I'll
like
tell
a
you.
gay bar name. I'm gonna say it's real.
Lance,
Oh, God. Fake.
it's fake.
Okay.
But here's the thing, though. That's the one I made up for you. I thought the same thing. So George Clooney is like a drag king.
Oh,
it's like a
see?
woman.
I was so close.
No, well, yeah. I mean, but it's not real. So we're just making this up. So I envision like a drag king. So it's a woman dressed like George
Oh wait,
Clooney.
there is no drag king. You just said that you made that up, and I was like, oh, but there is one, but there's not.
No, there's a drag king, like a woman impersonating a man.
Okay.
So there's a woman who dressed like George Clooney, and there's a bunch of drag queens behind her in like ER nurse outfits, and those are the trauma queens. So
I really like that.
that'd be fun, right?
I would really love that.
I would love to see George Clooney and
I
the trauma
know.
queens.
I'm sure they'd be amazing.
All right, Lance, this one's for you.
Okay.
Don't fail.
Gang nails?
Gang nails.
Gang nails.
That sounds tough, man.
Yeah, based on, my experience with grabbing just two regular words and throwing them together and then putting band after it in a Google search, I'd say that's real.
I'm gonna say real.
It's real. It's a guy I know.
Nice. It's my friend Joe. He
There's a
lives
guy-
in the apartment upstairs.
Did he
you know.
ever tell you why it's called gang nails?
No, I just the other day he was like, "Oh, yeah, you know a place I can play in LA?" And I was like, "What's your band called?" He's like, "Gang Nails." I was like, "Oh, cool." And
That's
then
pretty good.
Then when I was thinking of this game, I was like, "Oh, I need a band name."
There you
So-
go.
Nails. Yeah.
Maybe
Alright.
it's like the fingernails of gang members.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, here's the thing:
Right?
it's either hangnails, like it's like hangnails. That's what I was thinking. Either hangnails or like gang girl
Like nailing.
nails,
Yeah, I could see that.
like Mi Vida Loca style.
Yeah,
like really.
like scratching a hole in your.
Yeah, or they're like
trachea.
painted really crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they have like the name of the gang painted on the nail.
hell
Yeah.
In Old English.
And they're
Yeah.
like 20 feet long.
The nails are 20 feet
They're
long.
so fucking weird, and when they clap, it's
Yeah,
like
she
awkward.
drags them
Yeah.
behind the car with sparks
It's
coming
like.
out. Yeah.
What is that? What would you call that sound? What is that car?
Oh,
Hydraulics.
lowrider.
Hydraulics. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
I digress.
All right.
Yes, you
Liz,
do.
this one's for you.
Okay. Oh,
I can read through the back of the card, and I think it says taint.
crucial taint.
Crucial taint.
Crucial taint.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Is it maybe it's like crucial it ain't? Like if there were a comma there, like crucial taint.
No, it's if it's real or fake. It's not.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say it's fake. Because if it's not, I'm gonna like cunt punch whoever made that up.
Again, because of my rule of taking any two real words and putting them together and Googling it, I will say that's real.
It's actually fake. But here's the thing:
Woohoo!
the Tia Carrera's band in Wayne's World was named Crucial Taunt.
Why do
so
I not
close.
remember that band name? We just rewatched that movie again, and it's so fucking bad. Like everybody's like fake playing, but the music's like real bad. But when I was a kid, I was like, oh, this is bitching, man. Look at this like hot Asian lady fucking shredding, and it's like, as an adult,
When they make
So
movies
sad.
with bands in them like that are fake, why don't they spend even like one iota of time and energy showing them how to like fake play an instrument?
or just hire a real band and have the chick or whoever the dude is that's the main person in the band. They can just fuck around, but they should have a real band that plays real songs.
Because watching someone fake play an
I
instrument,
think that Crucial Taunt was a real band, though. Didn't they have a music video?
I know
They
everybody
did
look,
Ballroom Blitz.
if you
They-
just
Yeah.
watch it again, it looks like everybody's fake playing.
just the way she's
Maybe it's
playing
for the
especially.
film. Like maybe just for the film they have to fake
I think
play
she
it.
was a real band.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Crucial
snap.
Taunt.
Crucial Taunt.
God.
Because they had a
Also-
music video that was of the song from Wayne's World of just them playing Ballroom Blitz,
Oh god.
Oh, no shit.
which is
It's like my worst nightmare. Just put that on repeat and fucking lock me in a closet.
what band is that? Oh, The Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. So it was a Sweet cover, but I think they did a video for it.
All right.
All right, moving on.
Messy Jiverson.
Ugh.
Wow.
Real or
Also
fake? Messy Jiverson.
Atrociously bad. I'm gonna say Oh God, if it's real.
I don't know. I feel
It's
like it
just
could be
fake.
like a dead jazz rock band or something. You know,
gotta
like
be.
messing around with some,
Messy Jiverson.
you know, jiving around.
Fake.
I'm gonna say real.
It's real, and the reason
It's real.
the reason why that
Oh.
it's in here is because he has Messy Jiverson has a song called "Crucial Taint."
No way! Are you
nice.
serious?
Apparently,
That can't be.
I googled "Crucial Taint" to see
And Messy Jiverson.
and Messy
popped up.
Jiverson came up, and it's some sort of funk
That's
soul
some
band.
that is some comedy gold. That's some.
It's also a
and jiving
very
around.
good segue, Jed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
great
Well, no,
job.
these are in order
Applause for that.
sure.
Applause
Okay.
for that.
Yeah. So here you go, Liz. Here's the next one.
Messy Jiverson.
All right, I'm ready. Lance, don't try to sneak a peek. Oh, this is good. This is a good band name and very relevant. Cosby Drugs.
Ooh.
It's so good, but
Damn.
it's so
Too
fake.
soon.
It's too soon. It's too soon.
It's too soon. I came up with it last
It's
night.
Yeah.
fucking rad.
It's a good one, but yeah, it's
If
too
anyone out there
Lance,
has a
you're
band
new.
and you're
You're
looking
new.
for,
Yeah.
if you're
Lance.
looking for a band name, Cosby Drugs is
It's
available.
so good.
Yeah, I'm giving you that
I
one.
feel like you need to patent that shit, man.
It'd be like if the day that zombie face eating guy like was on the news, you said bath salts, I'd be like, dude, too soon.
Right.
But now there's definitely multiple bands.
I
called
thought
bath
Miami Zombies could be a good band name
salts.
too.
Yeah, that
Ooh,
is
that's good.
Yeah. All right. You got to get this one, Lance. This is a record store guy one.
All right, Nigel Peppercock, that's real.
Holy shit.
Do you
Well,
remember
you would
that?
know that. You would know it probably.
Do you
is,
remember
so.
the Nigel Peppercock 7-inch with the guy on the front, completely nude with the he had the high top shoes on, like on.
Was that at our store?
No, I don't
You're
know.
doing
I used to
this-
have it.
You're doing the spread eagle thing where if he's completely naked and he's in high tops, I'm like, are his balls showing? Like,
Oh yeah,
it's
his
like
entire
Goonie
dick
Goo Goo,
is showing.
Everything.
Those
is
guys
showing.
played my house in Seattle, and the
Were
cover
they
of this-
naked with high tops?
No, they were on a lot of drugs, and they brought exercise equipment that they set up and used during the show.
Wow.
But the 7-inch was this
Oh, my
naked
God.
guy in white high tops on a freeway that looked like it was in Arizona. Or
If
New
you could
Mexico.
just see what Jed looks like right now, you would just.
Very tan.
It is very.
He looked
sexual.
like Magic Jake, basically. From
Oh
the King
my
Tut.
God.
That's kind of what the guy looked like.
Hot.
Very
That
tan,
is so hot.
blonde, kind of like a Hulk Hogan-y looking guy with a big heart on and
Oh my
white high tops.
God.
And the 7-inch was called Fresh White Reeboks Kicking Your Ass.
That's so good. What year was it? I don't
This
know.
was like early 2000s.
Kick ass.
Awesome.
That
Yeah.
makes so much sense. If it would have been from the 60s, I would have been like, whoa, acid
No,
trip.
it was pretty dirty. I think that the one of the guys worked in a porn shop, and this guy brought in a bunch of photos of himself, and they
Nice.
used that as their other albums that they came out later were just filled with like the most horrendous gay porn you've ever seen.
Oh my God.
That
But
was-
if Nigel got married, there would be like a Mrs. and Mr. Peppercock.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's actually not that
It's a good last
offensive.
name.
It's kind of a nice.
Yeah.
It's an upper crust name
right?
in a way.
Right? It's upper crusty.
All right, moving on.
I did the last one. Is this one for Liz?
Oh, that's for Liz. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Iron prostate.
Ooh, whoa.
Oh, man.
Damn.
Taints and prostates.
Yeah. Right.
I think this game says
Ah.
a lot about the state of band names in 2015, dude.
And
that
how
just
hard it
about
is.
anything is believable.
It's so hard to figure out what's real
Because
and
there's
what's
so
not.
many bad
because
band names.
You could just, and Google is like the death of everything. You can't come up with
The
anything.
death of anything good.
I'm
What do you
gonna
say?
I'm gonna say it's fake.
Say it's fake.
I'm gonna say
Iron
fake.
prostate.
But unless it was for like a PSA campaign or something where they were just like, "This is our mascot, Iron Prostate. Make sure to massage your prostate daily."
I'll say that's fake too.
It's real.
It's
Oh,
real.
wow.
Apparently, it was like a band made up of a lot of like older dudes from other punk rock bands,
Whoa!
and George Tabb was in it.
I love that they're
Oh,
old
snap.
men,
Yeah,
and where they
they're
have
old
to be
men, yeah.
considered about considering their prostate at that point in life,
Right.
and they're like, "Man,
And they still want to rock.
you
Yeah.
pussy, you got a weak prostate. I got an iron prostate.
Yeah.
It's made of steel."
Nope, iron. Different kind.
Sorry,
of iron.
that doesn't make it God. I'm such a blonde.
I think you can make steel out of iron.
Can you? Okay,
Yeah.
let's just go with that. Melt it down in mortar, like mortar somewhere. You could probably.
Wow,
like,
Liz is really on this Lord of the Rings thing.
it's LOTR, just so you know.
Jesus.
All right, this one's for Lance.
Okay. Well, goat mask rapist. That's terrible. That's really fucked up.
It sounds like a Chris Kirk band.
I feel like
Yeah.
I love you, Chris Kirk,
Yeah.
but it sounds.
I feel like Goat Mask
It could be
Rapist
a Chris
and
Kirk
Cosby
band.
Drugs are playing a show
Oh, they are. They are right
somewhere
now.
in hell.
Let's make bin cards with some of these band names and put them in the
Yeah,
shop
just
where
like
their
make
record
fake
would
band
be
names.
filed.
Yeah,
I'm
George
gonna say
Clooney needs
Goat
to happen.
Mask Rapist has to be fake. That's terribly offensive and fucked up.
It is, but
I like that, but that's never stopped.
it's never
The
stopped
anal cunts of
anybody,
the world.
right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm
that's
saying.
true.
I'm gonna say
if I didn't know anal cunt existed and you put that in front of me, I would say fake.
it's kind of like goat head soup, like, but it's goat mask rapist. Like, I'm gonna say it's real.
It's fake.
God.
Thank goodness.
It comes from DJ Rick out of Sacramento.
Oh, well, I
That's-
love DJ Rick.
Yeah, me too. He's
What's
amazing.
the
Amazing.
context of
Yeah.
that?
He was posting on something about made up
Like
band
fucked
names.
up
And
band names.
that was one of them, and I just really liked that one, and I also wanted to give DJ Rick in
Props.
Sacramento
Yeah.
a shout out. Rick L, if you're listening.
Weird. I was just talking about him last night. I miss Art for Spastics.
There you go, Liz.
All right.
We got
Let's
a
see.
couple more.
Let me see if I can pronounce it. All right, now we got double dong.
I didn't mean it to be so sexual. I wasn't thinking about that.
Why are you giving me all this? I got prostate,
Peppercock?
double dong,
No, he got
Cosby,
rapist cock.
Cosby drugs,
we're just
crucial taint.
we're-
I'm getting all the sexual
Well,
ones.
there's going to be one more, and then it gets fun again.
Okay. Double dong
Double dong.
is
Whoa,
double real. Double dong has to exist. It's too phonetically pleasing to say that. Double dong.
See, this is what's great about this is I love the logic. Is like,
logic.
Right?
Goat Mask Rapist is too horrifying to be real.
Right,
So
but it's,
Double
I
Dong
don't
is
know.
so phonetically pleasing that it has to be a real band.
Double
name.
dong. I'm into it.
It's
What
like
do you think?
cellar door.
What do you think, Lance?
That's probably real. Yeah, there's idiots out there that would call a band that.
Double Dong, yeah, they're from Boston, I think.
Woo! Shout out to Double Dong. What's up?
Of course,
They-
they're from Boston.
They almost had a record out on Sub Pop at one point.
No
Nice.
way.
Yeah, part of the Singles Club. Someone was trying to sell us really hard on Double Dong when I first started working there.
Would it just be like a penis with like a little cube next to it, like a
Like a
Cube?
tube?
like squared?
a
Wait,
cube?
like a dong squared, like double dong. I don't.
No, I
know.
think
would
it's just
it just be
like
two
a
dicks?
penis with a
like double
on-
dildo.
I think
Okay.
I think it is what it actually says it is. It's not thinking
We're
more.
not talking about moon
I'm like,
duo
let's
here,
get into
Liz.
the math of this.
All right, one more gross one.
All
It's
right.
not that gross.
MILF and the Rookies. It's you know who Milk and
Milk and
Cookies is,
Cookies.
and I think that's got to be fake.
I'm gonna agree with that because it's
too similar to Milk and Cookies.
Yeah, that's somebody that knows what Milk and Cookies is, and
Yeah. Record store nerds.
that's a record store nerd fake band.
Right there for you, y'all. Look
It's
it
a
up.
good one though.
All right, we're
MILF
getting
and the
G-rated again here.
Okay.
It is a good band name, MILF and the Rookies.
All right, this is really G-rated. I'm kind of disappointed, Jed. Mr. Children. It's pretty good. Putting those two things together
Wow.
is pretty amazing. Mr. Children. Mr. Children, and I'm gonna just throw hobbits into everything. Mr. Children and the hobbits.
Nope.
No, Mr. Children is not real.
I think that's probably real.
It's definitely real.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you anything about Mr. Children, but I'm just going to say it's real, and we're just going to keep going real
Okay.
quickly here.
Fair enough. Snail
Oh,
ramp.
whoa.
That's a pretty good one, actually. I'm not against this in any way
That's
whatsoever.
is that a vaginal reference?
Snail ramp? No, I don't.
I like that the girl in the room is asking if that's a vaginal.
I think it's like
tell us.
it's like
Oh.
pet step. It's so that your snail can get into bed with
Oh,
you.
Snail can get
snap.
up. Okay.
That's awesome.
All right.
And
First of all, I
Sky
want
Mall
one of
just went
these.
out of business, so there's no more pet steps, but there's a snail ramp.
Okay, snail ramp.
I'm gonna say that it's fake in hopes that someone will use it going
Yeah.
forward.
I think I'm going to
Fake.
say fake. Because the snails don't go very fast. They don't really need a ramp.
Snail ramp is real.
Whoa.
All right, one more here.
Let's see what we got.
This is the second to last one.
Is that bump?
Yes, bump.
Okay. Bump of chicken.
Oh man.
Bump of chicken.
Oh wow.
But
Real
is
or
it-
fake?
That's got to be real, just
Okay,
because no one
so-
would ever make that up for this game.
I love the logic.
And is it like a
Bump of
is
chicken.
it like a bump, like a little piece, or is it like Coke, like you're doing like a bump of chicken? Like What
don't
is
know.
it?
Kids are
It's
snorting chicken now.
yeah. You just some shred. Get a hold of that shreddy stuff. I'm gonna say real.
It's real.
It's-
I didn't get Lance in there. Damn
Oh,
it. Yeah.
no, he already said
Oh, you
before
said it
me.
was real.
No
Okay,
one would
okay.
ever make that up. That's insane.
Bump of chicken.
Good logic. So, Mr. Children, Snail Ramp, and Bump of Chicken are all like wildly popular Japanese pop bands.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's a translation error where it comes out weird.
Lost in translation.
Bump of chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they meant piece of chicken
Snail ramp.
or chicken wing on a string. I don't know.
All right, we're going to do one.
There's
last
4.
one.
Let's do
all
them
right,
all.
let's
You can
do them all.
edit it
All right,
later.
we'll edit
Speed
it later.
round, speed
all right,
round.
all right, speed round. Here you go, Lance.
Mom and the Dads.
Oh, I love that.
Mom and the Dads has to be real.
I love
That's-
Mom and the Dads.
It would be silly if there wasn't somebody who had been in their band.
Is there there's like one mom and many
why,
dads?
why does there have to be?
Because it's only mom singular. It's not moms and dads.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna say real.
Yeah, Mom and the Dad is real.
I think that's real.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like I think like a late 50s, early 60s like gospel kind of group, like a family band or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
In a common
Are
dollar.
they on GNP Crescendo?
Quite possibly.
I think
It's definitely a thrift store
Yeah.
band.
I think I've seen that somewhere.
For all of the you
But
that
either
need to
way,
know.
like even if that band didn't exist, there would be a band called Mom and the Dads now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think like and Mom and the Dads could play with Mr. Children.
Yeah, totally. Or Cosby drugs.
All right. But for some reason we went from like all sex stuff to like weird family stuff.
Oh no, it's like we should have mixed that up. Then it would have been shocking. But you can do that later. Okay, I know. I'm pretty sure this is real because I think I've heard of it. But it's diarrhea Perlman.
Oh, damn.
Diarrhea Perlman.
I like the way you read it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's real. It's
I'm-
fucked up. I think I've heard of this band, but if I haven't, it's
I
gonna be
think
even
Liz
funnier.
is thinking of Diarrhea Planet, which is
No, I'm not. I'm
okay.
not, but-
Well, I think that's fake.
It's real. Diarrhea permanent is
Woot
real.
woot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I get bonus points.
I think there was a thing in the 90s, which were actually there's a thing in the 90s that happened where they were like taking like a lot of like celebrity names and then mashing them up into bands or whatever.
Yeah. Trying to think of one.
Like the Winona Riders and
Yeah.
you know, I don't no one remembers these. None of those bands ever lasted.
Yeah, where they put like someone's name and roll it into.
John Cougar
Diarrhea.
Concentration Camp
Yeah,
totally.
that's good.
is a perfect
David
example.
Lee Jazz Hands, which was the band we were in for a while.
I forgot about that one.
I did too.
Everybody did.
Okay. Here's one for Lance. And the same theme.
Oh, Sandy Duncan's Eye is real. I've seen this before. I don't know where, but I think this is real.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, that's real. 'Cause
Sandy
it's-
Duncan's Eye is real. And because they actually got, I think, sued by Sandy Duncan. I remember working in the Sub Pop warehouse and seeing the Sandy Duncan's Eye record, but they had to change the name, and so they changed it to Sandy Duncan's L.
Because why not?
Like ELL?
Yeah. It was so important for them to
So,
continue the band.
Yeah, Sandy Duncan's. But why not
Okay.
change it to the letter I? Like,
Sandy.
That's
that
just
makes
sticks in.
absolutely
I
no
don't
sense.
like it.
Sandy Duncan's one.
yeah.
That's probably why. All right, last one.
All right.
This one's for Liz.
That's for me.
What do you got?
PTS Dad.
PTS Dad.
PTS Dad. I love it. I
love
want
it?
it. I want it. I love PTS Dad. I want this to be real. Because it's not post traumatic stress disorder. It's post traumatic stress dad. He doesn't even really have to have been to war for this shit. It could
No.
just be that his kids all fucked him up, or his wife sucks, or his family made him crazy. You know?
so many reasons why that
dad It's could so have good.
post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, just a shitty dog or something. I'm gonna say it's not real, but I want it to be. Lance?
I think that's fake.
It is fake. It's actually an idea for like a bad sitcom I had called PTS Dad, where
Oh, I love it.
where the kids would like do something wrong and he just flies off the handle at any point.
Every second he's like, "Wah!"
I don't know if I ever told you this, but I keep a running list of mostly bad band names that probably don't exist.
Send them to me.
Do you want to hear some? Oh wait, yeah, maybe we should save.
We
this.
should save them for the next
Yeah,
show.
and you could use them.
And
Right.
I'll give you a shout out for supplying the band names.
Okay,
he's
yeah,
a
I got a
crap ton.
shitload of.
Yeah, don't waste them here.
Okay, will not.
Save those treasures for later.
And that's band names.
Yeah.
Band names.
I love band names.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
That was
Yeah.
really
All
fun.
right.
Let's keep that going.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That's
Thanks
the
for
show.
having us. It
All
was
right.
awesome.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Jed.
All right, that's been Jedbanger's Ball for today. I want to thank again everyone out there for listening and our guests, Lance and Liz. Go see them, Endless Bummer, April 24th at the El Rey. They're opening for Fuzz. Should be a crazy show. As always, we're brought to you by This Is Not a Pipe, and we're recorded here in Los Angeles, California at the Green Street Studios. Until next time, peace.